Welcome to Millennials on the Move. Oh my gosh, it feels so great to say that again, and I'm so excited that our first millennial interview back is my best friend, Leah. Yay! So before we get into the business aspect of it, for those of you who don't know what Millennials on the Move is, it is a segment on one of my shows that I do with a millennial entrepreneur. So either they start their own business, their nonprofit. I am just fascinated with them actually doing it and it being a great company, and I want them to pave the way for others to know that, look, at the end of the day, if you want to start something, it's possible. And these people are walking proof that you can do anything that you put your mind to, and also your discipline and focus to, because it takes a lot of that to start a business and keep it running. So before we get into that, Leah, just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you like to do.
I like to read. I used to read a lot more. I feel like I don't have as much time for it anymore, so I'm trying to make more time for that. I spend a lot of time with my daughter. I have a 6-year-old, so that takes up a good amount of my time. And I'm in the process of trying to sell my house. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So homeowning, before we get into anything, homeowning is a really big deal. A lot of millennials have been in a situation where they're either living with their parents or they're renting, which is fine, but when you start the process of homeowning, briefly touch on what that process was like in a nutshell.
There's a lot of waiting involved. I guess I'll say that. There's a lot of planning, a whole lot of viewing, and a whole lot of waiting. It took forever to close on my house. So I'll say that. In a nutshell, it was a lot of discipline because you have to save quite a bit, and then a lot of waiting because you may not get your first 5, 6, 7 houses, which I didn't, but I finally got one. So.
Right. So I'm gonna actually leave a card above because we did a little interview about homeowning and millennials. So if you want to check that out. Yeah, so if you want to check that out, the card will be above, and you can just go to that link and see exactly the process she went through to own her home. What type of business do you have? What is your company?
My company is called Mianicole, and it is currently right now we mostly sell hats. I want to say it's more of an accessory company, but as of right now I only make hats. So I make hats such as this one. This is one.
Right.
And I'm working on getting more things added to my inventory, but right now we just sell hats. So it's a hat company.
So Mianicole, how did you? That brand almost to me sounds like it can be anything, right? It can be everything. Accessories, it can be a book, it can be clothing, it can be anything. So what made you think Mianicole is going to be the name of my company?
I went through a few different names, but at the end, I was exactly what you said. It could be anything. So Mianicole could publish books. Mianicole could sell hats. We could sell shirts. We could sell toothpicks. We could sell shoes.
Right.
So that,
girl.
Yeah.
Right,
So that was the point. I came up with the name. That's my daughter's name. My 6-year-old name is Mianicole. So I decided, okay, well, let's do something to make her feel special, which she does. And it could be anything. That's the point. Yeah.
Great. So is there any... Starting your business, you run into a lot of stops, right? And a lot of, I can't launch right now. I really wanted to launch on this day, but something happened, I just can't. What was a major challenge that you actually saw during the process of starting your company?
I didn't have, the date that I set to launch, I stuck to that date. I'm very good at sticking to dates, so that wasn't an issue for me. But the biggest issue I would say is actually figuring out what Mianicole was going to be. I made up Mianicole and I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I didn't know if it was going to be hats or what. Hats came at the end of this long, brainstorming process with myself, but that was the biggest hurdle, trying to figure out exactly what Mianicole was going to be. So
and hats was what you finalized.
Yes.
Why hats?
So hats, I finalized hats because I thought my process was, what do I like? What is something that I would buy?
Right.
And I have a gang of hats, but I just thought, okay, maybe that was something that other people would also like. Whenever somebody see a cool hat, I would personally buy it. So I figured, okay, that's something that I personally would buy, and I figured other people would too.
Hats are such a wonderfully marketable thing to sell. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can wear a hat. Young, old, doesn't matter. Now she customized hats. Before, it was strictly what she was selling, which was smart because you're trying to make sure that it's going to sell. You're trying to make sure you're getting that right before you even start anything else. So the fact that she can actually take this brand and take it anywhere she wants to go. But hats was the smartest thing and the most quickest profit she could see a turnaround with, in my opinion, when it comes to selling things right off the bat. Not having a name, had no idea how this business was gonna go. No one knew exactly, what she was doing. But the moment that she started selling hats, people are actually posting her, and customers are appreciating her and showing her how they're rocking their hats. And oh yeah, I bought this for me and my boyfriend. Like, it is just such a smart business move. What is one of your major accomplishments out of the whole entire company?
Well, I guess it meant a lot to me when I hit my 1 year mark. Like, that was a big deal, because not that I doubted that I would have, but it was just really cool to see what it started from. I have everything from conception. I literally have a book that I wrote everything down, and you'll see like various names, ideas. So that was a big day for me. I went back and I looked at everything, and I was like, oh wow, I was gonna sell that, and for it to start there and turn into this, I think so far that's my biggest, I guess, accomplishment, or what I'm most proud of, that I made it to a full year. I'm still doing it, and I wear them as much as I can. That was cool to me, and it's really cool to see other people in my hats. I would say that gives me the feels, major feels.
So as you guys know, you may or may not know this, but it takes money to start a business, and it takes money to keep the business going. So I want to get a little technical when we talk about finances and what it actually takes to start a business. And of course, all businesses are different. This is a hat line, so when it comes to production and seeking out companies who are making these hats, is she gonna make the hat? Are you gonna design? Like, how is that process gonna be? And it's very important to map that out before you even start. Something that she touched on earlier, she wrote everything down before she started anything. So financially, how much did it take to start your company? Like, this involves the LLC, this involves buying the hats, this involves buying the material to make the hats.
If I could give, I guess, just say to start it roughly, I probably, this is all out of pocket. So I did spend money out of my savings. I'm pretty good at savings, so I spent money out of my savings. I luckily do have good credit, so I was able to get my machine on credit. I was able, the machine itself was quite a bit of money, because I make each hat myself. Like, I physically make them myself. So there's a process of buying a whole bunch of hats, messing up a ton of hats that cannot be sold, so that money is gone. But it was a learning process. So I would say roughly, just initially starting, before I even made any money, I probably spent about $3,000 or $4,000, I'd probably say. But it was all in the process of starting my own company. So I was fine with it, and I planned for it, prepared for it, and that's about how much I started off.
So it's safe to say a business is nothing to play with. We have to understand that financially planning and having credit, you cannot get a business loan. You cannot get credit towards a merchandise that you need to merchandise, period, or a machine that you need to use. Your product is gonna be either solely from your savings account, if that's what you're good at, if that's what you have, or if you make enough money in your company to just go out and spend a couple of $1,000 on a startup. But it takes investing in yourself and investing in your business. This is not a $200 to $300 venture. Depending on what you're doing, I'm not sure. So let me, stop there, because you may be developing an app from scratch, and you're a tech person, and you don't need anybody else to do anything. But I think it's very smart to say, going into business, you have to have a budgeting and financial plan before you start, because I can see that easily stopping someone from continuing the process of owning their business and going into it, just thinking about, dang, this is going to take this much money, I don't have that. So then you get bogged down, and then you just stop altogether. But saving helps. Like, it really does. Saving and planning, I feel like, was the best thing that she did before she started her business. What is something that you feel inspires you? What motivates you to continue to do Mianicole, to continue your day-to-day with your 9-to-5? Because she does have one of those, by the way. So not only is she owning her own company and making sure the production and making her own hats, she also has a 9-to-5 responsibility at another job that she's doing. So how do you balance that, and what motivates you?
I would say what motivates me the most is just, I like to, it's very important to me to impress myself, if that makes sense. Like, I like doing something and say, oh, girl, good job. job, you know.
Right,
You know, so
right.
to me, it was really big for me to say I have a company. It was exciting for me to look back on things that I can say I own that. My daughter motivates me. I mean, mainly I would say having an actual 9-to-5. That's what, for the most part, keeps my home afloat. You know, keeps my daughter fine. But
Right.
I do want to be a role model for her. I want her to see things like this. I saw my mom doing a whole bunch of stuff all the time, and I feel like that made me who I am today. So I think a big part of it is just being able to have something that I can say I made myself. I did every single thing myself, and
Right.
my daughter gets to see me do things like that.
Right.
And I hope that it has the same impact on her that, you know, me seeing my mom had on me. So
Right.
that's probably my biggest motivation for continuing, because it's, in the beginning, everything is really tough. And in the beginning, I spend more money than I gain back. Like, I'm probably
Right.
just now slowly starting to even
Get a
get
profit.
close to breaking even. Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
right,
but eventually it will get there. And that's something that could also deter people from
Right,
continuing.
right.
You know, when it's like, okay, this isn't really adding up. But
Right.
what keeps me going is knowing that Mianicole will be great. Like, I know that. So I'm gonna keep doing it until it gets there. You know.
Patience is the key. Starting a business and making sure that you can keep it afloat. She kept it afloat for a whole year, but she's just now starting to see it. Oh, this was actually a pretty good idea, and I actually may make a good amount of money from this. It's not going to be immediate. It's not going to be instant gratification. Starting my business, thousands of people are going to buy my product. You have to get yourself out there. You have to get customers that are appreciating you. You have to get those testimonials, so that they know, dang, this is somebody I want to buy from. This is someone I want to work with. So making sure that the customer is always right, in a sense, but also making sure that your home front and your mental state throughout the whole thing is day by day, step by step. It's going to happen, because if you know that your company is going to be big, then you just got to wait on that moment to come. You cannot get impatient, because when impatient people do things, it's not always done the best way, you know. I think for those who want to start their own businesses, who want to start their own nonprofits, or they just have ideas, what can you give them? What can you offer them from your journey and just overall? It could be something that a quote that you live by, or anything like that, to keep them motivated and keep them going.
Let me think. I can't really give you a quote, but I could probably just give you a quick summary of it. I decided to start my company like 3 days after my last class in my master's degree. I just felt like, okay, you have all these degrees, do something, you know. And like I said, I started it and I had no idea what it was going to be. It wasn't even Mianicole initially. I forgot what the name was, but I had like 3, and it just took a lot of work. So the best thing I would say is, it wasn't rocket science. Like, it wasn't just like, oh my gosh, it's unbelievably hard work. It was just, you have to do the research. You have to figure out what you may need. And think about it this way: if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it for you, right? So if you really want it, just keep doing it. Keep trying things. Like I said, my company was going to be anything else, maybe keychains. I don't know. It was going to be anything else but hats until it became hats. And I picked something, I stuck to it, and no matter how tired I am, I make the hats if I have to. It's about pushing through, and if you're deciding that that's what you want to do, then do it. You know, no matter what it is, just push through it. It could be anything. It's yours. It's my company. Mianicole can be whatever I want it to be, because it's mine. So whatever you want to do, make it yours, and just stick to it, because it doesn't look that great in the beginning, but it works out eventually. Because look, I can wear my stuff all on interviews. So just keep going. It's gonna be a little overwhelming at times, but just keep going. Go at your own pace. It's yours. You can do whatever you want to do with it. You know, it's yours. It's on your time, and you can make it whatever you want it to be.
So making it whatever you want it to be, because it's your company, stood out the most when she was giving you motivation to continue. It can be whatever you want it to be. Don't give up. Start your companies. Get great ideas. Don't start initially with no money, okay? Write it down, plan it out, financially plan it out. Talk to people who've been there. You know, reach out to people who have businesses that you possibly want to own in that arena, or they just know a little more than you. It's okay to use people as resources, and it's okay to ask questions. I am so glad you guys are tuned in. I can't believe I'm back. I'm so excited. Thank you for being my first interview back to Millennials on the Move, and stay tuned for greatness. She's gonna leave a little snippet of her Facebook, her Instagram, her website, anything. Oh yeah, she's selling Carnival hats at the moment, so she's gonna leave a link at the bottom for you guys to purchase those hats. Carnival is next weekend.
Oh gosh, yes.
And she's a part of it. So I want you guys to support Black businesses, support businesses in general. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
Hi, I am Leah, owner of Mianicole, and you can follow us at mianicolebrand.com. That is on Instagram and on Twitter, and the website is mianicolebrand.com.